Anybody there? Hello? Um, so I think this is working. I don't really know. This is my very first time using the live, so I'm not really sure how things are going. I have no clue how to do this stuff. I had to do it on my phone because my laptop doesn't have a webcam, so it's kind of just got to work with what you got here. So, anyways, and I need glasses too. Okay, so let me see here. Tom chat, some messages. If you could chat and like say something so I know that you guys are hearing me. Maybe I'll see here. She's lost large bag. Okay, great. Um, it's not like I was expecting like a window to pop up and like show me uh, like all you guys commenting or whatever, but I haven't seen. Oh, there's a comment. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Leanne. Oh boy. Okay, so I guess we might as well get right down to it. Let me put my hair up because this is I have to look down, and so it's making it difficult. Anyways, um, thank you guys for coming in to see me and hear updates on kind of what's going on in my life and what I'm doing. So since the last episode, um, I spent like almost $900 getting the van fixed, and that pretty much just wiped out my bank account, which I hate talking about this stuff, but I mean, just kind of want to give you again an update on what happened. Basically, after that, I didn't have enough money to get the transmission fixed. It still needs to be serviced. The guy looked at it and he says it just needs to be serviced, and so God knows what's involved with that to have it fixed. But I'm able to drive it around town, and it seems to be doing okay. But it still feels like I guess it needs to be serviced. So that's what's going on with that. I've basically been hermiting. I'm not going out at all, which sucks. I wish I could, but I just am in a financial position where I basically I basically started looking for like regular work, like a 9 to 5 job. I've been looking for a lot of video editing jobs, working for corporate companies or whatever, anything to like get myself back on my feet again. And chime in at any time if you guys have questions because I'm all for that. So um, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Like I have ideas, but I don't know about the direction of the channel anymore because I've kind of gotten to this point where I'm not doing van life anymore. I mean, that's just my reality. And as much as I tried everything I could to like hold on to this dream, it's just so pertinently clear that van life cannot work in this van. And I know I said that a few times, but um, basically, the next few episodes that I do, vlog related episodes, are going to be entirely related to fixing the van, doing what needs to be done in terms of renovation, and then selling it. And then I don't know what the next chapter is for me. I don't think I'm going to get another van. And I know that that sucks, but the reason that I got into van life was to save money, and I've saved $0. I haven't saved shit. Van life has been far more expensive than I could have ever imagined, and I don't think it's supposed to be like this. I think I was just one of those people that got a really bad van. Do you need housing? No, I'm actually I have a place. I'm staying here in Palm Springs at a friend's house. And I'm very grateful for that. And so basically, they're out of towners. They're hardly ever here. They live in Long Beach, and they've got this house here in the desert. And basically, I watch the house, so I get the mail, and I take care of that things. I make sure it stays clean, and yada yada yada. So that's what I'm doing here. it's a sweet deal. I'm not paying rent, but I really want to have my own place. I don't like the fact that I'm like, kind of scrubbing off people or whatever. It, it's very sort of demeaning, but at the same time, I just have to do what I've got to do. So again, that's why I'm looking for regular work, because it's like I have to kind of, I gotta, be responsible and take care of myself, and I can't be dependent on other people. Another reason to do van life is not to be dependent on people, to pay off my debts, et cetera, et cetera. Are you planning to leave California? Yeah, I really want to get the hell out of here. I mean, I've been trying to get out of here for a long time, but I just keep coming back to this desert because this is kind of like, this is where I may make money. This is where I've been making money for the last 7 years. So, but there's just something about it. I don't know if you've ever lived out here. I think the universe is saying, hang up the van keys. There's another journey for you that you will find your channel. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, there's no question that there's talent and that I can certainly do something, that I can create another channel, or that I can do something else to be entertaining or whatnot. And I think I'll always vlog just because I really enjoy vlogging. Like, I get a kick out of it. I crack myself up. I think it's hilarious. But yeah, I do feel like I'm supposed to do something else. Yeah, like universe or God or whatever. And that has been like the leering thing going on for the last basically year and a half, with the sleep issue and the breakdowns. And like every time I would set to do a trip, something would break or something would fall apart, or it was just, I couldn't have a single trip where something wouldn't break, And it just, I feel like what you said, it's like, when you're not on your soul's path, you're not going in the right direction, your soul is going to keep nudging you and keep messing things up until you figure it out and you go in the right direction. The problem is I don't know what the right direction is. Like, sure, like I said, I've got ideas, but I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. Craft brewery and tourism. Yeah, see, I love beer. That's a good idea. What about entering tiny home movement full force? Man, life took dive right in after COVID. Tiny homes. I mean, I've been wanting to tour tiny homes. I don't want to have it specific to van life. I would love to tour tree houses and tiny homes and caves. I'll tour anything, honestly, I will. But the biggest reason why I'm not doing tours right now is because it's expensive. I spend a minimum of $150 to $200 on each trip that I take. That covers my gas to and fro, it covers my food, and even when I bring food, it still can be expensive. And then, of course, there's, things like flat tires and things breaking down and stuff like that. So it's just expensive, and I think it's the fact that I live in a place where there aren't van lifers. People don't come, there's not a lot of van lifers or travelers that I've seen that come to Palm Springs. They go to Joshua Tree, which is about an hour from me. So I have to basically commute everywhere for any kind of, tour or whatever. There are many craft breweries. Oops. I just pushed the wrong button there. So here's the thing about drinking. I hardly ever drink anymore. I do love IPAs. Boy, do I love IPAs. If I was to have a beer, I want it to be strong and I want it to be good, I like red wine, and I like, cabs. I like something strong. If I'm going to have a drink, it's going to be good, and I only need to have one. But I'm not drinking right now. I'm super focused. Like, I don't know if you noticed, it's kind of hard to tell, but like I've lost a lot of weight, and I started exercising, and I hardly ever drink. In fact, I'm not even drinking at all right now because I'm trying to take care of myself. You drink, you sell. Sell what? What am I going to sell myself? Teach tours. Teach people how to do tours? Yeah, give me ideas because I'm all for it, I off and on have thought about teaching people how to do filmmaking. And I know that there's certainly a market for that, and I would really, really enjoy that. Tiny house friendly. Yeah, they are now. They didn't used to be, and I know in some places that there's still some coding issues with getting like tiny homes on properties and stuff, depending on where you are in California. But it's definitely obviously far more appealing to any community is the tiny home market and the van life market. Anybody that owns a home is not going to want somebody who sleeps in a van on their street. They're just not. Because I mean, you think about it, I would imagine property value would probably go down if you got a bunch of damn van lifers sleeping on your street. So I can see why people don't like it, you know. Uh, but yeah. Anyways, so I've just been on this kick. I've been applying for different places. I've been applying for like working for other YouTube channels, and some really promising jobs, very, very high paying, awesome jobs, which would immediately get me out of the debt ceiling and I'd be solid. But at the same time, I would obviously have to put the channel on the back burner, and I really don't want to do that. But I just talked to a friend of mine yesterday. Her name is Jody Christina, and she is a psychic, right? And occasionally I will, have other psychics read me. And like I've mentioned before, yes, I am psychic, and I do lots of readings for people all the time. But I haven't really made a business out of it, meaning at craft breweries, work there, teach, do tour, small home, farmstead. That actually sounds like fun. That does. Like I would love to work like at a regular place, working side by side with other guys and doing something like crafting beer. That does sound awesome, but I don't know of any breweries around here. Sometimes I do think about getting like a regular job, and because of the social aspect, you know, ever since COVID hit and van life kind of took a turn for the worse, I can openly admit that I have depression, and I've been really lonely. You know, yeah, podcast. Now I've had people mention podcast, but to me it seems like I've invested so much of my time into this channel that a podcast, why couldn't I just do readings on YouTube? I mean, lots of people do that, but where was I going? Oh, depression. I'm yeah, I'm definitely depressed, and it's just because I'm lonely. I don't have the social interactions that I did prior. With van life, I was constantly seeing all kinds of different van lifers, and I was doing the tour videos, and I was working for tiny home tours, and I was just living the dream. It was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my own life, and you know, it's hard. So one of the things about starting your own business is that you essentially do it alone, you know, and so it's hard. That's why I think about getting normal jobs sometimes, just because of the social aspect of being able to be around people, to work with people, to make friends. Uh, so there is that, but I don't want to get too political in terms of like, my personal decisions on things, and I really don't want people to hold it against me, but I am one of those people who is not vaccinated. And the world is changing, and we all have to adapt to the way things are going. And, I have my personal reasons for why I don't want to get vaccinated. And I don't want to hold a discussion about it, because I have nothing against people that get vaccinated. My whole family's vaccinated. It is what it is. But the world is changing, and it's limiting my ability to work for people. So I'm going to have to probably work remotely if I do get a job. And will probably likely have to work for myself, like I have been. But I've got to change it up. I've got to do something different. And like I said, a friend of mine, Jody, she had done this reading for me yesterday, and she mentioned this app called Keen. and there's Keen and there's Purple Ocean. Both these apps are psychic reading apps where basically you go on the app and you look for a psychic, and they'll do like a reading for you for anywhere from like 3 minutes to 20 minutes, right? And then you make a commission, they take their cut. And people are making some very, very good money doing this. So I'm actually kind of excited about it. I applied for it. I guess it takes like 10 days for them to go through the screening process before they allow you to come on, and then you just start making money. And I really like the idea of working remotely. I really like the idea of being able to, work my own hours and get paid pretty much immediately. Like I can work a whole day and get paid right then and there. I really like that. So I'm going to give that a shot, see how it works out, because if I can get a job that facilitates, hey, what's up, old friend? I haven't seen you forever. Oh, shoot, I lost that thing. I got to go back on comments. Oh, how do I get back to the, oh, man, I lost that comment. I don't even know how to pull it back. Crap. Sorry. It was good to see you, though. Thanks for joining. Where was I? I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, the app. Basically, so if I'm making money, the way I see it is, if this app thing works out and I can make the money that supposedly you can make upwards of like $500 a day doing readings. That's a lot of freaking money. Honestly, if I was making $500 a day, I would probably only work 3 days out of the week, and I would just enjoy the rest of my life, So there's a lot of potential to make money. The thing that excites me about this particular type of work, YouTube, their pockets, you can do that remotely and bring guests from van life, tiny home. And that's actually a really good idea. I would actually really enjoy that. And because oh, no way, that's so cool. Okay, right on. So yeah, you guys keep saying podcasts. Maybe there is something with that. Maybe I do start interviewing people. I know a lot of people. I mean, I've toured so many different people, and I know that they're all relatively open to doing some sort of thing. Would you guys be interested in that? Like, if I did maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, YouTube podcasts, where I record it, you can watch on YouTube or hear it on the podcast, and just do interviews with people that live the life. Is that something you guys would be down to hear? Hell yeah. Okay. Now that I think about it, I've always been very good at interviewing people. And I know that you guys don't see that side of me, because you only hear the receiving end of the edit, of the videos. So you don't hear the questions that I ask them to get them to say the things that they do in those interviews for the tour videos. So, okay. The wheels are spinning. I'm going to have to try and figure that out. But that's a good idea. I like that. I think I'm going to try that out. Okay, cool. Anyways, like I was saying, if this thing works out with the... God, why do I keep losing my memory? I need some food. I need my breakfast bowl. Jesus. Anyways, if the YouTube, if the psychic thing facilitates me making good money, then that will support me being able to go out and do those tours, because I have got a laundry list of tours that I can do with people along the beach. I've got 15 people all lined up, ready to do tours. I just have to get out there and do it, but it costs money to go out there. So yeah, was good. So that's basically where we're at. I'm just basically looking for work. I'm trying to make money. I'm doing some oddball jobs, photography and video jobs, occasionally really, really random. Anywhere you'll be awesome at it. You're awesome. Thank you so much for coming. I haven't seen you in a long time. That Divine Mojo, she's been watching my channel for a long time, and look on Craigslist for, what am I looking for on Craigslist? Francisco, what am I looking for? She got a van. She got a little van. I did a tour with her. She had a Kia Soul. Oh my gosh, she was living that thing, and I mean, it was crazy when she would get herself into the bed, and she was all crammed up in there, but she was comfy as hell. I'm really happy for you that you got that little white. I'm not even sure what that thing is, but it's bigger. It's bigger, and she's doing much better, much more space. Now you can breathe in your space. Um, so that's basically it. Yeah, basically a mansion. Totally, it's pretty nice, for sure. Um, Not dating anybody. I haven't. I haven't been in a relationship in kind of like 2 years now. I haven't dated like that gal that came into town, 2019 Ford Transit. Oh yeah, the littler one. Yeah, I haven't dated in over 2.5 years. Like now, okay, I was with that gal. She flew into town from Oregon, or not Oregon, New Orleans, right? She flew into town and we were together for like 3 weeks. Like we talked on the phone for like 2 months and we just had this amazing connection. And then we met and it just all fell apart. It was a freaking disaster. And I can't even tell you everything that happened because it's super personal. But it was, the first week was amazing, and then it all just went to shambles, and it was a total disaster. I don't have any regrets about it. She was amazing, and we didn't click. There was a lot of things. I think the biggest thing, she didn't believe in Bigfoot, and she made fun of me about it. I mean, come on, Bigfoot is real. I keep telling everybody that damn thing is real. It's not a guy in a freaking suit. Jesus. So, yeah, that didn't work out. I've been trying though, even though like I'm obviously not in a position where I should be dating anybody, but I'm lonely, man. I ain't got nothing else going on. I'm looking. I'm always looking. I'm always looking. You know. So, yeah, no girly friends, no fun, no nothing going on. I haven't been doing much stone balancing. I very rarely get out there, even though it's literally right across the street. I just stay in. I'm super hermit right now. It's kind of sad, but the one thing is I started working out. I'm doing P90X again. Now, I started P90X when it first came out, and it's a great workout. And I've done it so many times now, but it feels so good to work out like that. To have a program, something to stick to. You can write down your goals. So I'm really, really enjoying it, and I'm trying to not get sick, and taking all these immune boosters, and trying my best to just take care of myself, and try to be as fit as I can, because the cold winter's coming, and it's pretty scary. We've got some pretty scary times ahead of us here, and I know that all of us are concerned. I think the biggest thing that I'm worried about is the inflation of food, because you've got all those ships that are docked on off the seaport or whatever, and they're not able to deliver their products, and that's a pretty big problem. And I don't know that anything seems to be getting done about it. They're not reporting much about it either, which is very strange. That's probably going to be one of our biggest issues is food, and so it's like I really need to make some money here, and save up, and be prepared, so all those preppers that have been doing this stuff for years, they're in a good spot. But yeah, this is a tough time for sure for all of us. We're all struggling to get by, and save money, and stay healthy is the biggest thing, is staying healthy. But that's basically it. I appreciate that. Thank you for giving me the idea about the podcast. That is actually a good idea. I definitely need to look into that. I'm sure I would enjoy doing something like that, interviewing people, and things like that. So, good idea. I will definitely check back with you guys and let you know what happened with doing the psychic readings on that app, and we'll see how that goes. So right now, again, just trying to find work, save up some money, get the van fixed, and then you're going to start seeing the episodes where I basically have to rip everything out of the van. So I have to, the whole build gets ripped out. And I have to fix that insulation with those big black dicks on the side of the van. You remember that episode where I had the big black dicks on the side of the van because the insulation shrunk and it looked like a big black dick? Well, that's getting fixed finally. Uh, so yeah, my van is such a jalopy. I swear to God. I've always said it's like it just drives me crazy that like that van 100% does not represent who I am, because like if I didn't have to spend the money that I did fixing the van, it would be gorgeous. It would have a brand new paint job. It would be totally restored. It would be beautiful. But I haven't. I've spent all of the money on fixing it. So all of the not pretty things, the things that no one will ever see. So basically, I have this practically brand new van underneath, but nobody knows it because they take one look at the outside and it looks like a heaping pile of shit. It's got rust and it's got dents and scratches. The paint's all messed up and the roof rack is all rusted. I mean, it needs a lot of work. But it's not rusted in the sense like it's rusted out. So I think it's going to cost me, the transmission is going to be about $400 to have it serviced. And then it's going to cost me probably about $700 to redo the inside. So like I said, I've got to rip the whole build out. And I know that I've talked a lot about lowering that bed. I think I probably will do that just because it needs to have more space for, sitting space. It's a bit uncomfortable having that high up. So I want to lower the bed. I need to create a type of I'll probably like put holes down there so that the mattress can have air to circulate so that it doesn't get moldy. I need to replace the insulation on the sides where that big black dick is at and get that fixed. I need to replace the floors because the floors are, they're just scratched as hell. It was this cheap vinyl flooring that I bought and it looks awful, so I have to replace the floors. I need to repaint. I need to, one of the things I really want to do to make the space more of a functional space, because it functioned in a lot of different ways, but the one way it didn't function for me was comfort. So, I mean, lying on my bed, I could do my work and so on, but the bed is not the best for your back. It's not really that great. It's great for sleeping on, but not really for working on. And ideally what I'd like to do is to get a swivel mount for the chair, the passenger chair, so that it spins around and then you have all that space. You can kick your leg up on that ottoman that I've got and you've got all this workspace. That would be a much more functional space. So yeah, I'm looking at anywhere from $500 to $700 to get all of that stuff done. But once it's done, then I can actually sell the van for a relatively decent value. And right now is like the best time to sell a vehicle because the market is so high. They're selling for twice as much as what they're worth, and I've seen people sell them for 3 times as much. It's insane what's going on right now. Yeah, exactly. Comfort and functionality is important. It can't just look nice. It has to function as a space for one person. I couldn't imagine 2 people living inside that van, but I mean, people have done it. But it needs to be more functional. So yeah, I've got to fix the plumbing. There's just stuff that needs to get done. It needs a whole new facelift or whatever. But I'm not doing like a whole new build. I've just got to fix stuff. So yeah. I'm late. Are you still going to live in the van? I can't. In fact, I didn't even talk about that. So funny. So yeah, if you saw the last 2 or 3 episodes, I can't remember which episode it was, but I went out there to Huntington Beach and I would get periodic rest. So I never rested 4 hours straight. I would sleep for 2 hours and then I'd wake up and I'd be up for an hour, hour and a half, and then I would sleep for an hour. And then I'd wake up and I'd be up for another hour or 2 hours. And then I would sleep for another hour. And this happened 2.5, 3 nights in a row. And then I was done. I just absolutely could not do it anymore. And what I got from that experience is that although I beat the insomnia and then I beat these anxiety related issues, what's happening to me is PTSD. I don't like talking about this, but maybe I should just be totally truthful with what's going on. Basically, I mean, if you've watched my channel since the day I started it, there are some episodes that I did where I talked about, I think it was the top 10 things I overlooked buying a vintage van. When I first bought that van, the day I bought it from this guy, and I don't remember his name, but I call him the liar because he basically lied about everything. The day I bought this van, it had a smell on it, and I attribute it to just a smelly van because lots of people have said it's a smelly van. It does help. I totally agree. Thank you, Joy. I'm glad you guys are here to listen too. I really appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, he wouldn't take it back. Thank you, exactly. So basically I was driving down the highway. I'd only been in the van for about 20 minutes and I almost passed out because it had a severe exhaust leak. It was seeping right into the cabin where I was sitting. And it almost killed me. And I remember being parked on the side of the road in this commercial district, and I called the guy right back up and I was like, dude, this thing, I can't drive this thing. You need to take it back. I even offered him like half of what I paid him just to take the damn thing back. And I remember, I'll never forget this, his girlfriend is in the background and she's like, don't take that effing van back. and I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And he's like, I can't do it, man. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Had I known that there were laws against like selling people dangerous vehicles, I would have sued the shit out of that guy. I would have sued the shit out of him, but I didn't know. It's long past due for that. It's too late. So I remember when I drove it home, I had to have all the windows open and I could only drive for about 30 minutes. And then I would get like smoked out and I would have to wait like another half hour to 45 minutes to like breathe oxygen and then get back in the van and do it. It took me 4 hours to get home from a 2-hour trip. It was ridiculous. So that was my very first experience with this van. And it has been a freaking nightmare since I've had it. I have nearly been killed more times than I can think inside the van than anything else in my entire life. Carbon monoxide poisoning has happened, I think about 6 times. So I'm super sensitive to it now. I've been gassed out by the burner. What the hell is that thing? That Mr. Heater Buddy? It broke, and so it was shooting gas. Almost killed me. So I don't use those things anymore. I did test drive it, but I only drove it for 5 minutes. The windows were open. It was windy out. It was cool with the breeze, and it felt great. So it wasn't a big deal. But when I had the windows closed and I was on the freeway is when I got basically smoked out of the vehicle. So, yeah, I will never, ever, ever buy a vehicle without having a mechanic, one that I trust, to look at a vehicle. That's just a given. I made a huge resounding mistake. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but before I got the van, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a guy called Dylan McGaster, but Dylan McGaster is a van lifer. He was for many, many years. He was like one of the legends. He was one of the first ones to do van life where it was starting to take hold. You know, I mean, he wasn't one of the first van lifers, but he was like one of the first like YouTube van lifers. And so he's got a channel. He's got 2 different channels. I think he has the Dylan McGaster now. He's got one called Florb, and they're both basically the same thing. So anyways, he, you know, did van life and he would do tours, and that's how his channel blew up, right? And I met him in Joshua Tree. He was doing a tour for a guy, and I was just like, oh my God, because I had been watching this guy. This was before we even got into van life. I was just seeing what this whole thing was, and this was like my guy. This is him, right? And by like divine intervention, I met this guy, and I introduced myself, and I only talked to him for like 30 seconds, and you know, I guess I left a kind of an imprint with him. Well, like 2 weeks later, he put out and he says, I'm giving up van life and I'm gonna buy a sailboat and sail across the world, and I need a crew and I need some people. So, you know, me along with thousands of other people, you know, made little videos and sent it off to him, and I, you know, introduced myself and told him why I'd be so great. And well, he called me and he said, I want to meet up with you. So I went out to Josh Tree and I met up with this guy, and he was everything that I thought he would be and more. He was a very impressive young man. He was younger than me by like, I don't know, 10 years or something, but very charismatic young guy. And he's, you know, heard my story, and he's like, so look, I don't think you'd be a good fit on my crew, but what I want to do is I want to sell you my van, because he knew I was looking for one. And I was just so honored. I was so freaking excited. I could not believe this, that like my idol, the guy that I looked up to, was going to sell me his van, and I was going to travel the world in this thing. And I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I told him I was going to. I had, you know, kind of written out this contract, and this is what I was going to do. But the problem is that it wouldn't pass smog, and it had some issues. It had a tie rod issue. These are relatively inexpensive repairs, but the not passing smog is kind of a big deal in California. And I had assumed that it would probably cost me a minimum of $2,000, and he wanted $15,000 for this van. And back then, I did not see the value in that. His van was totally decked out. It was ready to move into. All I had to do was buy it, fix that, and it was mine. Right, it's a big deal, and it can be very, very expensive depending on what kind of vehicle you have. Unfortunately, I was not aware that the older vans are actually pretty easy or not easy, but they're inexpensive to replace. I found a catalytic converter for about $250 on Amazon that was legal for my van. So I could have spent, you know, maybe $600 for a new exhaust system, you know, not including headers, but, you know, piping and muffler and all that. So that's basically what I spent for my van. But anyways, it had that issue, and so, you know, he wanted $15,000 for this thing, and this is like I think it was a 93, or maybe it was an 84. It was an old van. I was like, there's no way I'm spending $15,000 on this thing. So I just didn't see the value in it. And then I turned around and I bought this van for $5,800. I actually overpaid for it, way overpaid for it. And then I told him, I said, I can't buy this thing, and I backed out and I bought a different van. And that, I will always regret that decision, because I felt like it was divine intervention or purpose that, you know, God sent me this person, and then I was supposed to buy this van and start my whole YouTube thing with it. But I totally screwed that up. I regret that for the rest of my life. And the funny thing is I was trying to avoid all of these repairs. His air conditioning didn't work. You know, there was all these little things that, you know, would have been relatively expensive. And when I bought this van, it had all of those problems and more, way more problems. When I bought this van, the air conditioning didn't work. He lied about that. And I checked it, and it didn't blow that cold, but he said, oh, it probably just needs, you know, the Freon or whatever. And that wasn't true. He lied about the solar, he lied about the batteries, he lied about the electrical, he lied about basically like everything, the sliding door. He literally lied about everything. I remember when I pulled apart the build, because he had this, you know, raw build. He didn't paint anything. He just cut up some raw boards and threw it all in there, and it was a real slap-up job, you know. And I remember pulling everything out. He didn't even have it insulated properly. He took foam board cutouts and he just threw them in there. They were just kind of slapping around in between the board and the it was the stupidest thing I'd ever seen. I couldn't believe it. This was all the stuff behind the slats that he had, you know. It was just a joke. Literally the only thing in that van that still exists that was his is the flooring. He actually did a good job with the flooring. but everything else was junk. Um, Everything else broke. The whole solar setup was garbage. The only thing that survived was the inverter. That was the only thing that was really good of value. The battery had died. Everything had died. The solar panels were not what he said they were. It was just a freaking disaster. So pretty much since day one of buying Baby, it's been a absolute money pit. And so here I am. I got into van life to travel for adventure, to save money and to pay off debt, and I didn't save any money and I didn't pay off any debt. I did travel a little bit though. I got an inkling of it, just a little bit of a taste of what van life is like, you know. And I love it. I love van life. Freaking great life. It's so free. If you haven't done it yet, god damn it, try. Just rent a van. You know, you can get these pretty fancy vans for $150 or $200 a night. And yeah, that's a lot of money, but man, just do it. Do it for a couple days. Moving and building a tiny house? Maybe. I'm not going to say for sure yet. We'll talk about it later. Go onto my Instagram, Travis__travels, and then shoot me a DM, and we'll talk about that. There's this guy. I think his name is Steven. Don't quote me on that. I'm not very good with names, but he's got a channel. He's got an Instagram called Stolp Solutions. I think it's Stolp_Solutions, and then I think that's the name of his business. And this guy, he had this ambulance back in the day. It was called the Rabulance back in San Diego, and that's where he's got his business, and it's just grown over the years. And he's a veteran, and he does build outs. He does, you know, like van life and, you know, ambulance builds, and his work is so freaking good. He makes really good quality stuff. And I've been talking back and forth with him for the past couple of months because I've been wanting to do a tour with this guy. But he's doing a raffle. He's raffling a box van, or yeah, it's a box truck, right? And this is by far the baddest, most dopest box truck I've ever seen. And usually they kind of look like shit on the outside, but this thing's really nice. And he's raffling it right now for $69. And I thought, okay, if I want to hold on to that thread or the inkling of potentially staying in van life, I'll invest the $69 for that thing. I unfortunately do not have the $69 yet, but I'm hoping that I get it. The raffle ends October 15th, so I've only got a few days left to make that money and hopefully be able to win the raffle. He's already got well over 150 people that have bought into it. But definitely check this thing out because this thing is dope. It's a beautiful build. It looks great on the outside. Anybody who gets that is going to be very lucky. So that also brings up another thing is like, you know, I know for sure I can't sleep in my van, but I don't know if I can sleep in other people's vehicles. Like, what if I get another vehicle and I can't sleep in it either? What if I'm really traumatized? What if I'm really effed up, you know? I don't know. So that's why it's been relatively enticing to kind of get back into normie life and get a regular car and just save money and pay off debt and do what I need to do. But I'm holding on to your ideas about the podcast. I think that's a great idea and would be a nice addition to my channel, just to keep things kind of going, or you know, staying fresh, you know, in my mind. So I really like that idea. Again, I'll let you guys know about the readings, the tarot, or not tarot, but the psychic readings, and see how that goes. And yeah, that's about it. I don't think I have anything else to talk about, but thank you so much for all of you coming. Do you guys have any more questions before we end this live stream? No? Nobody has questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. I really, really appreciate you guys. I appreciate your honesty and sharing everything with me and giving me those ideas because they do help, and I appreciate you guys. I'm very, very grateful. So I will talk to you guys when